Guys, this changes everything.
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT.
Now, I'm not just blowing smoke. I really think this changes everything. And what I mean by everything is this changes the game for the way we write. At least if you've been paying attention, dictation is a way to speed up your process, a way to get the words out faster so that you can edit them down later, and generally improve your workflow, improve the speed that you work, improve the amount of books you can write in a year, all of the things that I like to do. And there's been a game changer. Now, if you've been living under a rock, you may not know what I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about it anyway, and you can go research it, go Google it, go find out that I'm right and see that this exists, that this is going to be a game changer in a lot of industries. What am I talking about? AI.
Artificial intelligence.
It's the robot in the machine, in the system that's controlling our lives. It's the thing that's going to take all our jobs away. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a tool based on machine learning and neural nets. Artificial intelligence, sure, but a narrow artificial intelligence, specifically, scientifically called an ANI, artificial narrow intelligence. This isn't an AGI, an artificial general intelligence, which is kind of like a human, essentially, something that can do anything, or at least in terms of brain power or thought power, can think of anything. It's certainly not an ASI, an artificial super intelligence, which is like the next level. That's where the singularity comes that Ray Kurzweil keeps talking about, when everything becomes a Skynet sort of thing, where we as humans are barely allowed to exist in our own world because the governing robot computer machine thingy, villain, whatever, wants to just control everything about us, and it knows how to, I don't know. The point is, what we're dealing with here in 2023 is an artificial narrow intelligence. Now, it may be the first true artificial narrow intelligence, that remains to be seen. But the truth of the matter is, what it is a tool that authors and other creatives, artists, musicians, fill in the blank, have been using already to do their jobs a little bit faster, or a little bit better, or a little bit differently even. This changes the game for how we creatives create. One of the ways that changes things for me, personally, is in dictation. Now, I have been using ChatGPT, which is a new service from OpenAI, which is a company producing this artificial narrow intelligence. That's not the point. The point is, I like to dictate my books. Now, I use Dragon Dictate on my Mac, and it's a great environment for creation because I can take my little recorder. Check this out. I got it in a box. I take my little Zoom recorder and I go drive, and I just talk into it. And this records on a little tiny SD card, and I throw it into Dragon Dictate, and it transcribes what I've written. Here's the result of what that looks like. Okay, so I'm in Scrivener. This is what I do my writing in. This is what it looks like. These up here are texts that I have. These are chapters in order that I have fixed. Essentially, I've gone back through and I've edited the text so that it's readable and it's ready for my second draft eyes. And then after that, it'll be a final draft that I'll send out to my beta and ARC team. So it's a full process, and this is like step 2. So these are all step 1. I haven't touched these yet. I've dictated them and I've transcribed them. I've had Dragon transcribe them, I should say, but they're obviously very rough. And you can see in the text here, this is not good. This isn't something I would release at all, any stretch. But I'm going to show you because I like you. And so you can see stuff in here. Got attacked by blank, blank, blank. Fix that shift. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's not what I dictated. I said something more akin to, from outside, got attacked by blank, blank, blank. Fix that shit. Right? Because sometimes I get mad at the way things sound when they come out of my brain. But all writing is editing, right? We know that. So anyway, the point is, I want to see what it's going to do with a sentence like this. Should we be... Oh, shit, Nick, you forgot the open quote, I'm thinking. So then I go back and, okay, open quote. Should we be picking up all this paper? Question mark, close quote, Julie asked, period, open quote. If the print... And then I forgot what I was going to say. So instead of printouts, there's a pause here, and my dictator, my transcription tool, thinks this is 2 words because I paused. So I put print outs of what they were working on, the Mike Lewis in. So I said that might clue us in very quickly. And this said, oh, I know that. That's a name. That's Mike Lewis. And I'm like, there's no Mike Lewis in my book. This is not Mike Lewis. It's might clue us in, but they sound similar, right? She knelt to grab a handful of white papers. Probably not the best sentence ever written. Or maybe, I don't know, it might be. Okay, so we're in ChatGPT and I'm going to ask it. This is a text thread that I've used to do a lot of dictated text. So I'm just going to say real quick, please fix this dictated text. Okay, and I'll put a colon, and then I'm going to just dump my sentence here, and we'll see what it does with this. This is real time, so okay, so that's interesting. I think the Mike Lewis might have confused it, but already you see it got rid of this. Should we be? So it notices, okay, there's a duplicate here, there's a quote in the middle, so probably this guy meant to dictate a piece of dialogue because it can see that the rest of the dialogue punctuation is intact. Okay, great. So the structure is there, so it knows it's dialogue, so it just gets rid of should we be. That already saves me a couple seconds because I have to see that, delete it, right? That's huge. That's huge. And then what it does is really, really cool. So it keeps everything else. It makes a comma instead of a period. If the printouts of, so it got the word printouts of what they were working on. Oh, okay, so I didn't tell, okay, so I should have said if they were printouts of what they were working on, the Mike Lewis in. Now, I'm going to probably change this whole sentence anyway, but it fixes the obvious mistakes like the word Mike Lewis. It doesn't really do anything with the mistake up here. It just says if the printouts of what they were working on. So this should be if they are printouts, right? I can fix that. They might be important. So it knows that Mike Lewis isn't there, and it assumes what I'm trying to say, and it's accurate. It's accurate. I mean, I literally meant to say that might clue us in. And if that matters to you as an author, you'll have to go back and fix that. You'll have to see those things. But I'm not that picky of an author. I am happy to let the computer think of words that sound good and put them there. So they might be important is accurate as far as what she's trying to say. She knelt to grab a handful of white papers. So it keeps that last part. So this is what it looks like in real time. Now, it does all of this at once. You can see up here, it does some longer sections. What I run into sometimes is it tends to kind of get toward the end here. This is like 450 words total, this one. And it tends to kind of try to do its own thing, especially if the end of a passage ends with like a blank, blank, blank. That, again, that's one of my things that I do. I've noticed that it'll say, oh, okay, this guy doesn't actually know what the hell he's talking about, so I'm just going to make it up. And it starts to get off track a little bit. Sometimes it's interesting, and I can use it a little bit and work it. But a lot of times I say, actually, no, you got off topic, and I'll go back and I'll copy this much, and then, 300 more words or whatever in the original text. But check this out. So this is some text that I dumped into ChatGPT. I said, can you fix this text, please? But I was looking at this particular passage in general. This is a common thing that happens when I dictate. Maybe it's because of my Texas accent, but when I say, we'll tell you more, but we'll do it in person, it literally hears, will tell you more, comma, but we'll do it in person, comma. And so, ChatGPT, though, ain't so dumb. It's not going to do that. It immediately spit this back out, and I highlighted this to see if it would fix it. And of course it got it. Well, tell you more, comma, but well, do it in person. Of course, now if I just said it like that, it would just put well without the apostrophe. It knows the context. Guys, this is the important part. This is why it's a game changer. It knows that it's dealing with fiction. It knows that it's dealing with writing. It knows that it's dealing with dialogue. So it actually changes these things on the fly and corrects it for me. Now, of course, it's not going to purposefully introduce any typos, any misspelled words. So that's kind of like an added bonus here. It's not going to add anything else that's going to be incorrect. But what I'll do after that is I'll go back to Scrivener. And what I like to do is this little side-by-side comparison here. I'll copy the text from ChatGPT. I'll just do this quickly in Scrivener so you can see what I'm talking about. But I'll take, let's say this is the ChatGPT fixed text and this is the original one. I'll open up both of these in a side-by-side comparison, and I'll go down to the ChatGPT where it starts, and I'll just line them up. And this is just kind of a quick read through to see what did it change and where. and why. Obviously, this is the exact same text, so it's going to be the same, but you can see very quickly at a side-by-side like this what exactly it's fixing for you, and you can start to home in really quickly on the actual text that you may want to massage a little bit more. Bottom line is, this is huge. This is a really, 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 really big upgrade for dictation, and I love it. As you can see, this isn't the best formatted text. It's not the best written text either. It's a first draft, very, very rough first draft. I'm obviously going to go back through it, but there's so many mistakes in it that I also have to go back and fix things that no human would actually miss. So for example, if I'm writing the words, in dialogue, somebody says, I see, right? Open quote, I see, comma, close quote, he said, period. Now, Drag and Dictate and the built-in Apple dictation tool, if you're doing this live, will pick up those punctuation marks. It will put a quote and then a close quote and a comma, and it'll put the period at the end, and you can say new line and it'll go bloop down to the new line. That's great. That's fantastic. That's what I wanted in a tool, and we've had that. I've used that. I've been doing that for a long time. What it will miss though is I will say, I see. And depending on the inflection that I use, it may not know how to translate the word I see into two words, I and S-E-E. It might just say, I see. Well, okay, that's not really helpful, computer, right? Because then I have to go through it. I have to, first of all, catch that mistake before I hand it to my beta readers who hate this kind of stuff. And then I have to fix it manually. I can't do this on the fly. I got to stop and kind of start again. And this process sucks. And what typically happens is I lose hours of time just editing down the text so that it's readable, so that I can go back and fix it and make it a good second draft. Once I dump my file into Dragon and let it transcribe, I'm not even at the point where I can go back and kind of rework it, massage it a little bit, and produce a really nice polished second draft. I have to do hours of work just to get it to that point. Dictation still wins for me, personally, because it's so much faster still than typing. Even if I type, I'm gonna go back through and fix that up and massage and all that stuff, and it takes a long time. I can dictate, I mean, you probably have heard me talk, I talk very fast, and so when I'm dictating, I talk fast, even faster. And I can go open quote, I see, comma, close quote, he said, period. He looked at him mysteriously, comma, I can go on and on and on and do that very quickly, and that's far faster than I can type. So overall, it's a net positive for me. Dictation still wins. ChatGPT is changing the playing field for everybody. It's not leveling it, it's just changing the playing field. I don't even know what that means, but the point is, it's made this dictation process so much faster. So literally, I can dump that text, the transcribed text, into ChatGPT, and I have to go a little slowly. I have to go like 500 words at a time, where I find that it kind of meanders around and wanders away, and then I got to get it back in, focus, right? It fixes it. It knows what I was trying to say, and it fills in the blanks. And when it doesn't know what I have to say, like for example, I put the 3 words in, blank, 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 if I need to fill in the blanks, literally fill in the blanks later. I'm telling myself, Nick, this part sucks, you need to fix it, or I'm saying, hey, we don't really know what this region of Russia looks like, I need you to go research it and describe it better later. So I'll put blank, 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 describe this region of the Kodar mountain range better, blank, 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 so that I know, and I can just do a quick search at the end and find all that. ChatGPT will try to put in that description. It actually seems to know what I'm looking for there. It's not going to be anything elaborate unless I tell it to, but it will know just from the transcribed text that blank, blank, blank probably shouldn't end up in the final book. It takes it out completely. And then sometimes, often, it will say, okay, describe the Kodar mountain range. Well then great, we know we're producing fiction here. Let me use this guy's tone that he's given me in the prompt and fill in the blank with the description of the Kodar mountain range. It's uncanny, actually. I'm still gonna go work it up and make it my own voice fully. So I'm not saying that AI is writing my novels by any stretch, but it's taking my transcribed text, and it's as simple as just asking it to do that. I just type in, can you help me fix up this text? I've dictated into my computer. And so I can feed it my text whenever I want, and it's ready to go immediately. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a game changer. So if you are trying to dictate but are frustrated by the lack of quality in your transcription, or if you've tried to dictate and you've been frustrated by how long it takes to fix that transcribed text afterward, highly recommend you go check it out. ChatGPT, right now, it's totally free to use, I believe. I have an account that I pay for with OpenAI because I use their playground and all these other things for their other models because I'm a nerd. But I think it's probably in your best interest as an author, as a writer, someone who wants to build a career out of this, to understand what these tools can do. And don't just fight them. Don't just say these shouldn't exist, because guess what? They do, and they're going to exist. There's no legislation in any country, on any planet, that's going to be able to say no more AI development. That's just not going to happen, right? So it's probably in your best interest as an author to instead look at this tool as a net positive for your career. How can you use this to either increase the speed of or the quality of your writing? Go check it out. Let me know what you think. This is a game changer. I truly believe it's going to speed up my workflow, maybe tenfold overnight. We'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.